game of this three-game series between the Royals and the Tigers from Comerica Park. And this game is important for this reason. The Royals are 3 games back of Minnesota for the second wild card in the American League. They've got 4 games coming up against them starting tomorrow. Hello there, everybody. Justin Kutcher alongside Tom Verducci. And Tom, the Royals are 3 games back with 25 games to go. They're going for it one more time with this core group of 4 players.
Well, I feel like we're watching the last leg of a 7-year tour of a band that's about to break up. And it's been a very successful band. Free agency is looming. Let's start with the cornerstone and corner players. Mike Moustakas and Eric Hosmer, they arrived here first year, 2011. That same year, the arrival of Lorenzo Cain and Alcides Escobar arriving in a trade from Milwaukee. This group has been together since then. They've made a reputation, Justin, as a great comeback team, but right now, urgency associated with every game. The clock is ticking on this team.
Okay, so the clock is ticking for the Royals. As far as the Tigers are concerned, they flipped the switch. August 31st, Justin Verlander dealt. Justin Upton dealt. So now it's a time to see what the prospects have to offer.
Absolutely. They're holding auditions for their band. They want to see who's in the lineup next year, 2018. September auditions. Well, last night they went very well. Let's start with the young third baseman, switch hitter, Jeimer Candelario with this big 2-strike, 2-run double to get the Tigers off and running, and then the power show. MIKIE MAHTOOK with a home run deep to left field, one of 6 home runs hit by the Tigers, all by players 27 and younger. Jacoby Jones, he had a pair of them. And oh, by the way, John Hicks, he also had a pair. So last night, a glimpse into 2018 for the Tigers with a lot of power on display.
The 6 home runs, as you mentioned, by the Tigers, that tied a franchise record the Royals gave up in a ball game. The Royals hoping for some power tonight. Let's take a look at the lineup for Ned Yost. Whit Merrifield will lead things off and play second base. Lorenzo Cain will bat second and play center. Melky Cabrera, who was acquired at the trade deadline, will play right field. Eric Hosmer, having a career year, will bat cleanup and play first. Salvador Perez behind the plate bats fifth. Mike Moustakas will play third and bat sixth. The DH is Jorge Bonifacio. Alcides Escobar will play short and bat eighth. And Alex Gordon in left field will bat ninth. And they will face the left-hander Matthew Boyd. On the season, 5-8, a 5.92 ERA. 85 strikeouts to 44 walks. Opponents have hit him pretty hard so far this year. But what can we expect to see from Boyd?
Well, listen, he's a guy who has rebuilt his engine midstream during the season. By that, his mechanics. We'll talk about that as we go on. Beware the first pitch. He has the second highest batting average against first pitches in the major leagues. And against the Royals, you see there, he does not have good numbers against them. They are the most aggressive hitting team in baseball. So beware of first pitch on every batter in that Kansas City lineup.
The defense behind Boyd. In the outfield from left to right, MIKIE MAHTOOK, Jacoby Jones, Alex Presley. Around the horn in the infield, you got John Hicks at first, Ian Kinsler at second, Dixon Machado at short, Jeimer Candelario at third, and James McCann behind the plate. And we're all set for first pitch, as Whit Merrifield will step to the plate. Merrifield, who's been a really productive player this year for the Royals. 281, 17 home runs, and 62 RBIs. And he takes the first pitch for a strike at 93. Merrifield is a guy who, he's one of those players that every team now wants to have. Behind in the count 0-2, he can play all over the place. In the infield, in the outfield, and not just an adequate outfielder, he's a really good outfielder.
That's a good athlete all along, and I think he surprised some people this year with the power that he has shown.
0-2 breaking ball to third. The rookie, Candelario, is there. And time now for the 4 keys to the game.
Well, for me with Kansas City, it's about Jason Hamill hammering out 6 innings. They need some length out of their starters, which they've not been getting recently. And for Detroit, think deep. Talked about the 6 home runs last night. They're 54 and 41 when they hit a home run. When they don't, they've won only 5 games all year. Only the Yankees with 4 fewer.
One away now for Lorenzo Cain. He takes the pitch inside and makes him dance a bit. 1 ball and no strikes to CAIN. 297, 14 home runs, 45 RBIs. A free agent after this year, as you just talked about. This Royals team could look very, very different next year. Ground ball to third. Candelario again. 2 away.
Good start for Boyd, keeping the ball down. 4-seam change, curve. That looked like a little cut pitch he's got there that he's added the last couple of years. Boyd's had some games this year where he's come out throwing a ball very well and gets in trouble by letting little innings become huge innings. Limiting damage has been a problem for Matt Boyd.
Melky Cabrera split time with the White Sox and now the Royals. 296, 17 home runs and 77 RBIs. Takes the pitch low and outside for ball 1. I think it's appropriate that on this day, on this night, when we talk about this Tigers team kind of rebuilding through trades. 2-0 off the end of the bat to left field, and there's MAHTOOK for the catch. We'll talk about why it's appropriate that Matthew Boyd is the starting pitcher on this game for the Tigers. Brad Ausmus and the Tigers. Ian Kinsler will lead things off, followed by Alex Presley. Nicholas Castellanos will DH and bat third. John Hicks will clean things up. Jeimer Candelario will bat fifth. Mikey MAHTOOK sixth. James McCann, Jacoby Jones, Dixon Machado, the bottom third of the order to face the right-hander Jason Hamill. And the first pitch fastball is in there for a strike. The numbers on Kinsler, a down year for him. 235, 14 home runs, 39 RBIs. Breaking ball, no balls and 2 strikes.
Get used to those. You will see a lot of sliders from Jason Hamill.
Goes back to a slider. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Laz Diaz behind the plate tonight. Doug Eddings at first, Jeff Nelson at second, and Corey Blaser at third. The 1-2 from Hamill. Misses inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Now, Hamill is a guy who commands his slider better than his fastball. Now, that fastball he ran in on Kinsler, he needs that once in a while to open up the plate on the slider down and away, which is where he should go right here, his favorite spot.
2-2 misses his spot. And Kinsler fouls it off.
Yeah, you saw where Sal Perez was set up, and that's where he wanted it, and he got away with a mistake right there.
Hamill making his team-leading 28th start of the season. Got the win in his last start at Minnesota on the 1st of September. Breaking ball is pulled foul.
That was another one that just rolled up there. Doesn't have quite the bite on that slider yet in his first plate appearance. That's a pitch he's thrown as many as 52 times in a game this year.
Kinsler to left field. Gordon has some room by the warning track. There to make the catch. 1 away. The numbers on Jason Hamill entering tonight: 7-10, a 4.8 ERA, 119 strikeouts to 41 walks. The walks have been so improved as of late. How about the scouting report on
how about another guy with a rebuilt engine? I'm talking about mechanical changes pitchers normally make in the offseason. Both have made them in season. We'll talk about that. You've already heard about the slider. That's his key pitch. And you mentioned the control. Just 7 walks in his last 9 starts.
Alex Presley at the plate. First pitch breaking ball misses for ball 1. Presley in 53 games this year, hitting .312, a home run, and 14 RBIs. What's amazing is if you look up and down this lineup, it doesn't resemble anything what we saw earlier this year for this Detroit Tigers team. Down low, 2 balls and no strikes. Brad Ausmus speaking to him before the game. He said as soon as Upton got dealt, Verlander got dealt, he knew. Flip the switch. Let's take a look at the young guys. Let's take a look at some of these prospects. 2-0 is fouled back. Here's a lineup on July 17th compared to tonight. I mean, look at the names.
Yeah, just focus on what it took to get through the middle of that order. 3, 4, 5, 6. Upton, Cabrera, the 2 Martinezes. A whole lot different now.
Amazing how quickly things can change. Good pitch right there. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
You know, righties and lefties doesn't matter. Jason's going to throw that breaking ball both sides of the plate to both righties and lefties.
Two, just able to fight it off there is Presley.
That's a good example of using it on both sides of the plate. Now, he'll throw the slider more than any other pitch. And across baseball, only Chris Archer and Patrick Corbin throw the slider a higher percentage of the pitches than does Jason Hamill.
Two, and Presley looked like he was fooled on that pitch as he goes down for the first strikeout of the ball game.
Yeah, he was fooled. I think Jason was fooled. This pitch really seemed to slip out of his hand, more like a curveball than a slider. It didn't have that real tight spin on it that Jason wanted, but the effect, well, it worked. He was shaking his own head on that, Jason Hamill.
Well, it's 64 degrees, mostly cloudy. Had some rain coming through before the game. Justin Kutcher alongside Tom Berducci from here at Comerica Park in Detroit. Nicholas Castellanos DHing in this ball game. Nice little pick right there by Salvador Perez. 1 ball, no strikes to Castellanos. 253, 20 home runs, 80 RBIs. Has 10 triples and 25 doubles. You wouldn't think Castellanos would be leading the American League in triples.
Well, this park, a lot of room in center field, triple friendly. You see where Lorenzo Cain defends Castellanos almost as if he is a left-handed pull hitter. Why? Castellanos has tremendous natural power to right center. You see where Cain is here, shading towards the right center part of the portion of center field. When he's on, he hits the ball well in the gap to right center.
1-1 to center field, driving Cain back. Cain looking up. This one is off the wall. Castellanos into second base with a 2-out double. One of the deepest center fields in all of baseball, 420 straight away, and Castellanos just hit it off the wall.
A good low ball hitter. Goes down and gets this two-seamer out over the plate. Watch him extend through the baseball. Head stays down for a long time. Upright stance, but he stays down with the head through the baseball. I'll tell you, this guy has been one of the most unlucky hitters in baseball, Castellanos. When you look at hard hit percentage, he's right up there in the top 10 across Major League Baseball.
John Hicks comes up with a runner in scoring position and 2 outs here, bottom half of the first. First pitch, ouch. Looks like he has that Evo Shield shin and foot guard on, but.
Well, you see he's a guy that spreads out far and then has the stride. So a lot, when you see that guard, that shin guard on the hitter's front leg, generally it's a guy with a longer stride spread out. And that certainly is the way Hicks hits. Generates tremendous power from the lower half.
That guard just saved him a nice bruise. Ground ball, shortstop, Escobar, sure-handed. Makes the play, and that'll do it here in the first. No runs on 1 hit, 1 man left on. We're through 1, no score. Matthew Boyd had a 1-2-3 first inning, and now he'll face the really difficult part of the order here for Kansas City. Hosmer, Perez, Moustakas in the second. Eric Hosmer in his free agent year, putting together a career year. 317, 23 home runs, 80 RBIs. And the first pitch breaking ball is in there for a strike.
That is a free strike. Talked about first pitch against the Royals team. That's how you get them off the first pitch. Just drop in that breaking ball.
1-1.
One thing you'll see here with Matthew Boyd is how quickly he is working. He's really made a conscious effort the last 2-3 starts to be on attack.
Ahead in the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
And Justin, that's not just pace, that's also attacking the strike zone. Really a different change in mentality the Tigers have seen out of Boyd these last 2-3 starts.
Missing outside, 2-2.
You know, he had a game in New York against the Yankees. He gave up 7 runs in less than 3 innings, and his manager, Brad Ausmus, called him out publicly after that game. He has to learn how to pitch, or we're going to have to make a move with him. And that was definitely, and he told me this, that was a wake-up call, and he had his own private conversation. It wasn't like Brad, you know, was just calling him out publicly. And he needed that. And that's when he went to a mechanical change and the mental change of being more in the attack mode on the mound.
The 2-2 to Hosmer. Breaking ball, ground ball to second. Kinsler from the outfield grass, 1 away.
He's got to much simpler windup with nobody on base. I'm going to compare it to last year, which is what he used also the first half of this year. He would start with his hands at his side, then pull them up to the belt. Now he's got the hands right in front of his chest, and he's going to start there as if he's in a stretch position. And now he's much more comfortable with a lower arm slot. You see how there's a lower arm slot now as compared to what it was last year and the first half of this year. And he said that comes from taking the ball out of his glove consistently now. Before, when he had more moving parts, he would sometimes take that ball out late and it was off timing with the arm speed on the way to the plate. Simplify it. Now he's been on time more consistently, throwing more strikes.
1 ball and 1 strike to Salvador Perez. The rock behind the plate for this Royals team, Salvador Perez. Ned Yost wondering, does his team have just that 1 more run in them? Foul back, 1 and 2 strikes. The Royals 3 games back of Minnesota for that second wild card spot. They open up a 4-game series with the Twins tomorrow back at Kauffman Stadium. They have to leapfrog a bunch of teams, but as Ned Yost said, hey, we just got to go out and play good baseball. 1-2, hit well to left center field. Going back is Jones. Jones at the warning track at the wall. That's gone. Salvador Perez with his 23rd home run of the season. And that gives the Royals the 1-0 lead. That just sounded loud off the bat.
Yeah, it did. And it's a pitch that Boyd wanted to throw, but give Perez credit. A high fastball at the top of the zone. And he absolutely hammered it. Actually, see the target is down and in. He missed this up and away, so he missed the target, but that ball's not even in the strike zone. But for Sal Perez, doesn't matter. There's no one who swings at more pitches out of the zone than Sal Perez. Sounds like a bad thing, right? But he's a good bat ball hitter.
That's the 4th home run for Salvador Perez against the Tigers this year. So 4 of his 23 home runs have come against Detroit. As Moustakas, broken bat, flare to center field. Jones will play this one on a bounce. And Moustakas takes the handle with him to first base. Somebody want to take that from me?
I wouldn't advise running with it. I would give that one up. Just off the end of the bat. That's why it broke. Bat died a hero, though. Take that hit.
It's not too often you see a player look back at the broken bat, at the big end of the bat that just broke off. So back-to-back hits after the first 4 were retired. Bonifacio hits one well to center field. Jones is over to make the catch. 2 away now in the second. And that'll bring up Alcides Escobar. You see Ford Field right next to Comerica Park. NFL starts up this week. The Lions just gave Matthew Stafford a nice big new contract.
I didn't know the NFL started this week, so thanks for that. Wow, I'm so plugged into this AL wildcard race, which I can't wait to see how it plays out at the end. You know, I've been rooting for that chaos theory for years. We've never had a 3-way tie in baseball for a playoff spot. Somebody asked me today, what happens if there's a 5-way tie? Baseball's never even considered that.
Outside, 2 balls and no strikes.
I would just fly everybody to like Phoenix and have an American Legion style tournament. You know, just do it one field, one day. Pack a lunch.
Play with pitch counts or no?
No. How great would that be? Like the next game, the players would be waiting in the stands to play their game with their uniforms on.
Well, it's funny. I mean, Ian Kinsler said that about the WBC this year. It felt like you were back playing travel baseball as a teenager. You didn't have clubhouses. You were in these auxiliary locker rooms.
Right, and you had to pay attention to some crazy things like tiebreakers based on runs scored and runs allowed. A tournament atmosphere, nothing like it.
He loved it. He said it was one of the best experiences of his life. It got back to playing baseball, not for money or anything else. It was just playing for pride and playing for that name across your chest, which was USA. Escobar to the gap in left center field. Moustakas going to be waved around third base. Here he comes. He'll be in there, as going into third with an RBI triple is Escobar. But Moustakas comes up hobbling a bit, and that's not what you want to see if you are the Royals.
No, absolutely. And in fact, that's why I would have taken a shot at the relay at the plate. It's another fastball just left center cut. Escobar hammers, and as you mentioned, Moustakas running here with 2 outs. It looked like an easy send until right around third base. Let's see if he starts to break it down after he rounds the bag. Yeah, right about there, rounding the bag.
Alex Gordon takes the first pitch curveball, first strike. Moustakas talking to the trainer on the bench. The 4th triple of the year for Escobar. Nice play at first by Hicks. Flips it to Boyd, and that'll do it here in the inning. But a home run by Perez, an RBI triple by Escobar. Let's see if Moustakas is okay. Sponsored by Ford. We're going further so you can. First responders from 9/11 here in attendance on the field before the game. A great moment as both the Tigers and the Royals went out, shook their hands, and stood with them during the national anthem. Gave me chills. First pitch to Jeimer Candelario is fouled back.
Yeah, congrats to the first responders, heroes every day. Congrats to both teams by standing shoulder to shoulder with our everyday heroes.
No balls and 2 strikes. Candelario, one of the guys that Brad Ausmus really wants to take an extended look at in this month of September.
Well, he's a guy in all likelihood will push Nicholas Castellanos into right field. Castellanos probably gets some action there next week on the road trip. He profiles as the better defender among the two of them at third base. There's Nicholas. I was talking to Omar Vizquel, the great infield coach for the Tigers, and he said Castellanos got hands, and Candelario both have very good hands, but Candelario almost like a shortstop over there at third base. That's how good his hands are.
One, two, hit to right field. Melky Cabrera going back. He's there on the run to make the catch. One away here in the second. Mikey MAHTOOK, the left fielder, makes his stroll to the plate. 276, 11 home runs, 34 RBIs.
Great pickup by the Tigers. Got caught in a roster crunch with the Rays. They needed a roster spot open. Tigers swooped in and grabbed him, and I think he's become a better player the more opportunities he's been allowed here in Detroit.
Low and outside, and you can hear Hamill when he released the pitch. Ah.
Didn't need the umpire to call that one. He called it himself.
Sliders in there, 1 ball and 1 strike. It's always amazed me watching Salvador Perez behind the plate, how low and how small he can make himself. He's a big guy.
You know, he's learned how to do that, Justin. Being a big guy, he obviously gets hit by a lot of foul balls, so he's trying to literally make himself smaller. And one of the things they taught him a couple of years ago was as the pitch comes in, drop your head. You really can't literally see the ball into your glove, so a lot of times you'll see him catch a ball and his eyes are dropping and his head is dropping, and that's so he doesn't expose the head-on foul ball, the ones that can lead to concussions.
3-1 is bounce foul. I mean, Perez is listed at 6'3", 250. He looks even bigger.
Well, there's an old saying with catchers, you want to make your target look big, but you do want to make yourself look small. Let the pitcher fixate on the glove and the target. But a lot of times you don't see a lot of big catchers because a lot of times the hitter can feel the catcher move behind him if you got bigger catchers back there.
Again, MAHTOOK fouls it back. The only even comp that I can think of when I watch Salvador Perez is Sandy Alomar Jr.
Yeah, I mean, Sal is probably even wider. Matt Wieters, another tall catcher, not as wide as Sal.
Joe Mauer was a tall catcher.
Yep.
(3-2) ground ball through the hole on the left side. A 1-out single for MAHTOOK.
Good adjustment. See a bunch of sliders. This one away. Now, a lot of guys will take this to the opposite field, but he's out in front, rolls over on it. But MAHTOOK is such a strong top-hand hitter. Two-hand finish allows him to get through that baseball even when he's out in front.
James McCann, the catcher, hitting .261, 13 home runs, 41 RBIs. You see the average is climbing since July. Selfie time.
Smile.
Nope, do it again. Didn't come out right. Didn't like the way they looked. You know, if it weren't for digital cameras, if we still had film, these selfies wouldn't really exist.
You know, I was on vacation a couple of weeks ago and I saw this drugstore that had advertisements on the outside: ice, cold beer, film. I imagine all the young people walking by. What is that? Let's go in. What is that? Let's find out. What are they selling
or something?
there?
Where'd you go?
Film. Remember those days, way back when.
You had to go and actually get your pictures developed. Somebody walk through your picture as you're taking it. Oh, what are you doing? I only have 24 of those.
Why 24, by the way? Why is that the magic number?
McCann completely handcuffed there, 0-2.
This is, again, good job by Hamill. Fastballs in, sliders away.
Check on MAHTOOK at first. He's 5 for 5 in stolen bases on the season. 2-0 ball game, bottom half of the second. The rubber game of this 3-game series.
I was going to say an old trick by Sal Perez there. When you know you're throwing to first base, set up in a location that you're not going to throw. He had been inside. You see where the pitch is going to be? Outside. So you don't give away your location when you're the one calling a pickoff to first base. In fact, you want to use it as a decoy. A lot of hitters will look back to the catcher. Where's he set up when the pitcher throws to first base? Well, if McCann had done that, he would have seen Sal set up inside, maybe think, oh, he's coming back in again with that fastball. But he's a catcher too. He knows all the tricks.
Sliders low and outside, 1-2. There's a reason why Salvador Perez has that gold right there on the chest protector for Rawlings, for the gold gloves.
Yeah, you got to earn that.
Yeah. One, two, just misses. 2 balls and 2 strikes here to McCann. On deck is Jacoby Jones. Timeout called after a long wait by Hamill, just mixing up his time to the plate. And that was too long for McCann.
That's exactly right. There are some clubs now that will teach pitchers holding the baseball for the absolute longest time possible, not only to freeze the runner on first, but to freeze the hitter.
Two-two, McCann chases it, and he goes down swinging. Second strikeout of the game for Hamill.
I said he's thrown 52 sliders in a game this year. He looks like he's out to better that mark tonight. That's the difference between an early count slider and a 2-strike slider. A little more bite, start it in the zone, wind up out of the zone and get the chase swing.
You see Jacoby Jones with 2 home runs last night. He and John Hicks each went deep twice in the ball game.
Now, by the way, how unusual was that? 2 rookies with multiple home run games in the same game. You'd think probably happened before a bunch of times.
You would think a handful of times.
Yeah. Just 2 home runs by 2 rookies in the same game. It was only the 2nd game in history. That surprise you?
Very much so. And the guys who were the teammates who did it before, Jay Bruce and Joey Votto.
Not too long ago.
Big swing right there, 1-1. Jacoby Jones was the opening day center fielder for the Tigers. But now, of course, they'll get an extended look in center field. In the air to center field. Easy play for Lorenzo Cain. And that'll do it here in the 2nd. We are through 2 here in Detroit. It's 2-0 Kansas City. Top of the 3rd and top of the order for the Royals here. Whit Merrifield to face Matthew Boyd. And the 2nd time through the order, he starts him off with a slow curveball. Merrifield 0 for 1, grounded out to 3rd base his first time up. And he comes back with a fastball, 0-2. Now, I said in the 1st inning why it's kind of appropriate that it's Boyd who's starting in this game tonight for the Tigers, because back in 2015, the last time the Tigers were in trade mode, he strikes out Whit Merrifield for his first strikeout of the night. It was Boyd who they acquired in a deal with Norris for David Price. In that same year, they dealt Yoenis Cespedes, and all they got back was a guy who won the Rookie of the Year last year in Michael Fulmer. So now this year, they just traded off Verlander, Upton, Wilson, Avila, JD Martinez. This is the real full rebuild mode.
It is, and that's the way you have to do it. You can't be half-hearted. Having a team capable of winning 79 to 81 games, it gets you nowhere. You don't want to be in the middle of the road.
Cain's ahead in the count, 2 balls and 1 strike. He grounded out to 3rd base his first time up. Inside, goes dancing again, 2nd time. And this time Lorenzo Cain looks out at Boyd. Melky, Cabrera on deck. 3 balls and 1 strike here to CAIN.
He looks annoyed, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Second time he almost wore it on the back foot.
Changeup. I like that pitch call by McCann and Boyd.
Yeah, Boyd might double up on that. He is not afraid to throw that changeup on full counts.
And he gets CAIN swinging after being behind 3-1. Back-to-back strikeouts for Boyd. The major trades this year for the Tigers. And there are a lot of deals right there. Wilson Avila and the 1 deal to the Cubs. That brought back the starting third baseman tonight. A lot of prospects. And as you said, Tom, it's one of those situations where toiling in mediocrity is the last thing you want to do.
Yeah, we've seen rebuilds work well in Chicago and Houston, by the way. But it's also a reminder when you talked about the deal for Fulmer, Cespedes for Fulmer, obviously one of the top pitching prospects in the Mets system at the time, how much the trade market for hitters has really cratered. You know, even the trades this year for J.D. Martinez, Justin Upton, Jay Bruce, we're talking middle of the order hitters. Nothing along the lines of a Michael Fulmer coming back.
Right.
And in fact, Ian Kinsler is sort of the last man standing here in Detroit. I know the Milwaukee Brewers tried to acquire him right before the July 31st deadline. Really weren't offering very much at all. And more recently, the Angels put in a waiver claim on Kinsler. And the same thing happened. No value.
Pop up to right field. Presley is there. A 1-2-3 inning work by Boyd here in the third. We're through 2.5. It's 2-0 Kansas City. Bottom of the third, and the bottom of the order, Dixon Machado will lead things off for the Tigers. Dixon Machado starting at shortstop tonight for Detroit. 59th game of the season for Machado. Hitting .285, a home run, 11 RBIs. Breaking ball is outside, 1-1. The reason why Machado is starting tonight is that Jose Iglesias has been placed on the paternity list as he just welcomed a baby. He was here yesterday. He was playing. And then got on a plane, and look at that. Proud Papa. Congratulations, Jose Iglesias.
Absolutely.
And I will say this, yesterday before the game, I mean, if he does for his child what he did for a young fan, he's going to be a good dad, because he made kid had to be 8, 9 years old. He made the kids weak. Little bouncer, trouble. Hamill, the bare hand, the throw to first, not in time. Infield single for Dixon Machado.
Well, you get rewarded for mishitting the baseball, which was what happened here. The equivalent of a perfect bunt. Really nothing Hamill could do. Gave it a best shot. But yeah, you were talking about Jose Iglesias before the game last night.
He took a fan who was basically 9 years old.
The coolest part was the fan went up to Iglesias and said, "You want to have a catch?" And Jose didn't hesitate at all. Absolutely. And it went on for what, 2-3 minutes. It was great.
And he was throwing him grounders, bouncers. I mean, it was so cool that if I were 9, 10 years old, however old the fan was, I don't know if I'd be able to sleep for a week after that. I mean, a major league shortstop, as good as Iglesias is, they're throwing it back and forth. He's just catching it with the outside of the glove. The kid was catching it with the outside of his glove. It was really neat.
An unforgettable moment for that kid.
1 ball, no strikes to Kinsler. Flew out to left field his first time up. A look back at Machado.
So there's something magical about a game of catch, isn't there?
It's one of the reasons why I love baseball. One of my favorite things to do as a kid growing up was, as soon as springtime hit and it was warm enough, I'd have my glove and my dad's glove ready for when he came home.
You know, back in the day when I was a beat writer covering the Yankees and Mets, I used to travel with my glove. And there was another beat writer, Stephen Buckley, who's now in Boston, did the same thing. One night we were headed to the airport in San Francisco. The traffic was so bad on the Bay Bridge, we were literally stopped. What did we do? We broke out our gloves and we had a game of catch on the bridge.
Hard hit to third. Moustakas throws to second for 1, over to first. Not in time.
The hot corner. Quick reactions right here by Moustakas. Really not a chance to turn 2, especially the feed is a little bit more to the outside of the bag. Merrifield gets turned around.
What Tom failed to mention is they also broke 3-car windows during that catch.
Well, my favorite game of catch story revolves around the general manager of the Cleveland Indians, Mike Chernoff, and his dad, Mark. I don't know how many years this has been going on, but many years. They have a game of catch every month of the calendar year. And there have been times where you get to the last day of the month and somebody's got to get on a plane to keep the streak going. That's one of the coolest things I've heard.
It's something so simple, but something so special, just having that game of catch. Alex Presley struck out his first time up, one of 2 strikeout victims for Hamill so far in the game.
You've seen Field of Dreams, right?
Oh, yeah.
The game of catch becomes a climactic cinematic moment. That's how magical it is.
A 1-0 base hit to right field. Kinsler takes a turn. He's going to go for third. Here comes a throw by Cabrera. The tag. Got him. Melky's got a cannon in right field, and Kinsler tried testing it.
Yeah, Kinsler makes the call himself. I don't have a problem with it. But as you mentioned, Melky has a tremendous arm, but more importantly, he throws a true four-seamer. There's no tail on this throw or cut at all. I just love the way he throws a baseball, almost like a four-seam pitcher hitting his target. Right on the money. The Tigers took a look at this on their replay monitor. Decided, nope, no reason to challenge.
Really close, but the accuracy, the strength, little dance now for MIKIE Cabrera.
Does it all. Throws runners out and gives us dance. Love it.
2 away now in the third. And Nicholas Castellanos, who doubled up the center field wall, steps to the plate with Presley on at first base. By the way, that was a game of long toss right there.
Yeah, that's stretching it out. He's a little bit deeper now with Castellanos up. With Presley up, he was able to play in a little more, cut down the distance on that throw.
Oh, one is inside. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Presley looks like he's got no designs on running over there at first base. Very short lead. You would think with all the sliders that Hamill throws, especially down and away, you could pick a pitch to run on here with 2 outs.
Slider missed by a lot by Castellanos. 1-2. Two away here in the third. 2-0. Royals leading. 25 games remaining in the season for the Royals, and they trail the second wild card spot by 3 games. In the dirt, good stop.
Yeah, Justin, this is where a team that's out of it can play fast and loose and to take some chances. You've seen that last couple of pitches, what I've talked about, that slider down and away, no slide step, full leg kick. Take off and grab a bag.
Presley's 4 for 4 in stolen bases this year. Not going. Castellanos to center field again. Lorenzo CAIN going back. This time has room on the warning track. Castellanos hit a couple hard. Has a double. MIKIE Cabrera do a little dance. It's 2-0 Royals. Royals leading the Tigers. Matthew Boyd will have to deal with a part of the order that gave him fits in the second. Hosmer, Perez, and Moustakas. Hosmer grounded out to second, back in the second. How about the praise that Ned Yost gave about Eric Hosmer today in our meeting with him?
You know, Justin, sometimes a manager compliments a player and it feels almost obligatory. And in this case, you could tell straight from the heart. He talked about Eric Hosmer as being one of the 2 or 3 best players he's ever been around, not just in terms of ability, but in terms of leadership and effort. Complete package.
Just asking what makes this guy such a great teammate, and then he just went off and talked and couldn't stop. Ground ball positioned perfectly as Machado. 1 away.
And 2 things stood out for me when Ned was giving us the reasons why. Number 1, never gives away an at-bat. Doesn't matter what the score of the game is, what time of year. And the other thing is just extremely positive, always upbeat. Players feed off of that attitude.
Salvador Perez homered his first time up. First pitch to right center field. Presley is over there to make the catch. 2 away. Saturday Major League Baseball is on Fox. All rise for the judge as the Yankees face Elvis Andrus and the Rangers in an American League slugfest, or watch the Orioles battle the Indians. Check your local listings. It's all Saturday at 12:30 Eastern on Fox.
It's a great time of year, isn't it? I think today there are 16 games, and 15 of them have some kind of postseason implication.
Mike Moustakas had that broken bat single his first time up. Takes the pitch inside. Moustakas scored on the RBI triple by Alcides Escobar. Came around hobbling, but has stayed in the game, obviously, and a slow curveball's in their first strike. 1-1.
Yeah, that could have been a case where the runner feels something, a little tightness, and just shuts it down so that it doesn't become something big.
2 balls and 1 strike.
Well, somebody's going to be unhappy if they don't re-sign him.
We got a Moose fan in the house. 3-1. Me.
There's a lot of Moose fans around. You watch someone grow up, first-round pick, become a World Series winner.
And now he takes a walk. Our Gatorade Extra Effort player profile is Mike Moustakas. His 36 home runs this year has tied the Royals' single-season record with Steve Balboni. And he's hit well against the Tigers on the year, over 350. But 1 more home run and he is the single-season Royals leader.
Bye-bye record for bye-bye Balboni coming soon.
Now, with that said, I know Moustakas has the beard. Balboni had the better mustache.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Moose is a good nickname, but bye-bye Balboni. I mean, come on, I got to give bye-bye the edge on that one, too.
No balls and 2 strikes to Jorge Bonifacio.
Steve Balboni actually came up in the Yankees system. Interesting team he played on in 1983, the Columbus Clippers. There were 3 future managers on that team with him. Buck Showalter, Don Mattingly, and Edwin Rodriguez. Also on that team, by the way, managed by Johnny Oates, the late Johnny Oates. Rex Hudler.
Wow.
Great color analyst for the Kansas City Royals. As well as Dickie Scott, bench coach for the New York Mets. A lot of brain power on that Columbus Clippers team. Of course, Balboni now and for years has been a scout for the San Francisco Giants.
1-2 backdoor breaking ball misses, 2-2. Now the question is, did Mattingly also have the mustache there in '83?
You know, I don't think he did. I think once he became the hitman, he was rocking the stash. That was a good one too.
That was a good one. Fouled back at a play.
Buck Showalter was a pretty good hitter in the Yankee system. And then this kid Mattingly showed up playing first base. That's when he started thinking about managing. How about that stash?
That's a good one.
A little Jack Morris right there.
I was going to say, back then the mustaches were in. Now it's the full beards. Inside, 3-2.
Full beard's definitely a thing with relief pitchers. Have you noticed that? That guy could pitch setup. He's probably got a nasty slider too.
Throws 98. 3-2 changeup. Popped up to second. Kinsler is there. And that'll do it here in the fourth. It's still 2-0 Kansas City. MLB wants to see your best plays this summer, whether they're in the backyard or the diamond. Show us what you got on social media with hashtag MLBThePlay, and we'll feature some of the best all season long. Not much more time to go, so get those plays in. John Hicks to lead things off. First pitch, lines one to left field, a leadoff single here for Hicks in the fourth.
Remember when I talked about how well he uses his lower half? In the 2015, watch him use his legs and coil. He was up with the Mariners and he hung around Kyle Seager, who hits exactly like that. And he took those lessons after talking with Seager virtually every day about using the lower half, worked on it in the offseason. The Mariners actually DFA'd him in the offseason, cut him loose. Twins picked him up, then the Tigers picked him up. But the lessons he picked up from Kyle Seager have really turned his career around.
Jamer Candelario, broken bat up the middle. That's a seeing eye single, and going to third base is Hicks. Good base running there by John Hicks. He knew it wasn't hit hard, knew nobody was going to get there, and realized he can get to third easily. So runners on the corners here in the fourth for Detroit.
Yeah, broken bat, pounded him inside first time up. Really pitched, it was a good pitch right there. Just pulled his hands in enough to to push this ball into the outfield, as you mentioned. Good read by Hicks to get the third.
Hicks at third, Candelario at first. Candelario, remember his first time up, gave it a ride to right field. Melky made the catch. Now he's got a broken bat single. It's not how hard you hit it, it's just where you place it. MIKIE MAHTOOK singled his first time up. A chance here for Detroit. And the first pitch slider misses for ball one.
Very quiet, calm approach at the plate. If you watch his top hand on the bat, he'll keep a very loose grip until the ball's actually released. No tension.
Slider in there, 1-1.
You know, they say sometimes holding a bat, it's almost like holding a bird in your hand. You want to hold it close enough so it doesn't fly away, but you don't want to squeeze it. Same with the handle of the bat. Scale of 1 to 10 is probably about a 6.5 or a 7 at the most.
Ground ball foul. So you would say it's almost like putting? How some will hold their putter?
Yeah, I would say in putting there are far more variations of grips than there are in hitting.
One ball, 2 strikes here to MAHTOOK. His job right now is get this run in. He does not, as he foul tips it into the mitt of Perez. Strikeout number 3 for Hamill. That's a big strikeout for Jason Hamill.
That's a great pitch. He doesn't go upstairs often, but in this case, MAHTOOK is looking to elevate something. You see the high target. Make sure it's above the zone. You see him get that pitch above the swing, the barrel of the bat. If that pitch is down another 3 or 4 inches, that's at least a sac fly. Great location, well executed. 47%. He's typically around 36% with that slider.
James McCann struck out his first time up. In the dirt, Perez. It's so much fun watching Perez be on the plate because he does it so effortlessly and the ball doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah, for such a big guy, he moves so well. His technique is tremendous. Watch him get the chest out in front of the knees. The knees will get down quickly. Well, that's the high target on the fastball. But when you're calling these sliders from Hamill, especially here where he's trying to get the ground ball, they're going to be in the dirt. So you have to anticipate the ball in the dirt and don't be surprised by it. See how early he gets down? There's where he makes himself really big, and the ball's not going anywhere because the chest is out in front of the knees. Textbook.
1 ball, 1 strike to McCann. Runners on the corners, 1 out here in the 4th. Ground ball third, off the glove of Moustakas into left field. Hicks comes in to score, and that should be an error on Moustakas. That could have been the inning-ending double play.
That ball's hit hard, but as you said, it's a play Moustakas would admit he should have made. 1 step to his left. Yeah, it doesn't look to me, Justin, like he's moving quite 100%. We saw him scoring on the triple by Escobar, a little bit gimpy coming home.
So runners at first and second, now 1 run in for Jacoby Jones. Chopper. Merrifield. good play to get Jones at first as both runners move up a base.
By the way, that was scored a base hit. McCann's ground ball.
That means a base hit RBI for McCann, and I'm left almost speechless.
It was hit hard, but again, I'm sure Moustakas would say that's a play I should make.
Two outs, runners at second and third for Dixon. Machado had the infield single his first time up. Inside for ball one. Good breaking ball. Well, there is an error on the board now for the Royals.
Well, they took a long time to think about that one. Upon further review, sorry, Mike, you got an E.
Another good slider. 1-2.
Should go back to the same pitch right here, a little farther off the plate. This is again, we're having that brick wall named Sal Perez behind the plate and give you confidence to bounce the slider.
Goes up with a fastball. They said it foul tipped off the bat of Machado into the glove of Perez. The Tigers do get one back. It's now 2-1. Doubleheader on Fox. First, Nebraska looks to flex their Big Ten muscle against Oregon at 4 Eastern. The number 14 Stanford battle Heisman Trophy hopeful Sam Darnold and number 4 USC at 8:30. It's college football Saturday starting at 4 Eastern on Fox. Alcides Escobar will lead things off here in the 5th. Tom Verducci's wearing one of those right now.
A little the Rosie the Riveter look, right? Back in the day, World War II.
It is Marine Week here in Detroit. First pitch is down low for ball one. Escobar had the RBI triple back in the second. His fourth triple of the year. 1-1 the count. To left field, MAHTOOK is there. One away.
Alex Gordon coming up now. You see, to me, one of the great mysteries of this 2017 season. See that batting average 195 has never gotten untracked. I know recently they brought him out for some early hitting to get back to some of the style that he used in past years, where he was more upright. And I think as his average got down, he got into such a defensive posture at the plate, really crouching and just diving into balls, instead of the more athletic upright position that gave him such great success. And that's where the mental strain of slumps can manifest itself in physical changes.
Fouled back, stays 0-2.
That number 9 spot in the Kansas City lineup. How about this, Justin? They have fewer RBIs than the number 9 hitters for the St. Louis Cardinals in the National League with pitchers hitting.
Line drive, shortstop, caught by Machado. Again, playing perfectly. Well, let's not forget Adam Wainwright.
Oh yeah,
that spot.
He hits like a 3-hitter. Had him played perfectly.
Merrifield to right center field. That gets down. Trying to cut it off is Jones. Turns, throws to second. Merrifield slides in awkwardly, but is in there with a 2-out double.
Love the hustle. You know, 2 outs, base is empty. You're trying to get yourself in the scoring position. You can only do that if you bust it out of the box. First pitch changeup. We've seen Boyd with this aggressive hitting Royals team mix up his pitches on first pitches. And right out of the box, Merrifield sprinting, smelling a 2-base hit. Great turn on the bag. Yeah, it looked like he was leaking oil a little bit. Sliding into second, but got there safely.
Do I dive? Do I slide? What do I do? Lorenzo Cain struck out his last time up. Merrifield, whoa. Good job by Boyd stepping off. And Merrifield now is off the bag as KINSLER is closing in.
He knows you can't overrun second base, right? I don't know why he was wandering past the bag. But at first he thought he had Boyd timed. Since Boyd looks to the plate and he figures he's going home. And that's when he went for a little bit of a stroll there and whoop, better get back.
Cain shoots one to right field. This is slicing foul out of play.
This team will hack. They hack more often than any team in baseball. They hack early. They hack at pitches out of the strike zone. It's been their MO. It works for them.
A long wait by Boyd. Misses up high with the fastball.
How about these numbers? Lead the league in chase rate. That's swinging at pitches outside of the zone. Swing rate is swinging at all pitches. Highest in Major League Baseball and fewest walks.
One walk tonight. That was Moustakas. Couple of strikeouts. Another fastball high and outside. 2 balls and a strike here to Lorenzo Cain.
Boyd has not been able to get those fastballs in on glove side. That one designed to be in, up and away. We've seen him miss all the way in on CAIN a couple of times.
Goes off speed pitch. And he did that in that last at-bat against Lorenzo Cain on a 3-1 count.
Big curveball. You see the fingers coming off the side of the ball. That ball started out outside of the strike zone, came back in.
Matthew Boyd trying to get through 5 here with his team trailing by 1. Merrifield dancing off at second. He goes back to the off-speed pitch. Misses 3-2.
He has changeup right there. Mixes his pitches up pretty well.
What do you think here? 3-2.
Well, again, I told you he does like to throw 3-2 changeups to right-handed hitters. Not afraid to throw it, especially with the base open here.
He goes back to it, misses for the second walk of the game.
He's thrown that 3-2 changeup to righties 29 times now this year. That's the 11th time it's been a walk. So it's really a pitch designed to get a swing. You don't necessarily want to throw it in the strike zone. That one just wasn't tempting enough for CAIN.
First and second, 2 outs here in the 5th, 2-1 ball game. As James McCann goes through the signs. I wonder if anybody's wearing an Apple Watch.
Well, he's changing the signs. You almost have to do that every batter with runners on second base these days.
Cabrera 0 for 2 with a couple of flyouts, 1 to left, 1 to right. Changeup is pulled to left field. Going back is MAHTOOK. MAHTOOK over towards the wall in foul territory, and that finds the seats.
Yeah, I was thinking first pitch curveball. That's what he threw. It's generally a free pitch. Not too many hitters will swing at a first pitch curveball. But again, this is the Royals. Melky fits right in. I'll give you an amazing stat about first pitch curveballs from Mr. Matt Boyd. He's thrown 110 of them this year. Only 1 has been put into play.
What?
Yeah. In average over the season, 93% of first pitch curveballs are not put in play. Hitters don't go up looking for curveballs. And yet Melky, it's a pretty good wood on that one.
Merrifield stretching down there at second. I wonder if he tweaked something.
Yeah, I think he felt something at the time that Boyd chased him back to second base.
Oh, 1 is pulled foul. 0-2. We've already seen Mike Moustakas come up hobbling, and that may have impacted his movement at third base on that ball hit in the last inning by James McCann. And now Whit Merrifield trying to stretch things out there at second base. With 25 games to go, at this point the Royals can ill afford to have any more players go down with injuries. Fastball got him swinging. So Boyd gets through 5. His team trails by 1. We move to the bottom half of the 5th inning here at Comerica Park. Justin Kutcher alongside Tom Verducci. 2-1 ball game. The Royals lead the Tigers in the rubber game of this 3-game series. The Royals 3 games back of the second wild card spot in the American League. The Tigers in rebuild mode, but Kinsler to left. Tie ball game. th home run of the season for Ian Kinsler. And after his pitcher Matthew Boyd got out of a jam, first pitch breaking ball.
Curveball. What did I say about first pitch curveballs? Well, he went up there looking for it. If he wasn't, he reacted well to a pitch that was right in the zone. Again, pitchers do regard that almost as a free strike, that first pitch curveball. That's designed to get a strike. And Kinsler ambushed him.
Alex Presley now at the plate. There's a first pitch breaking ball. A smile on the face of Ian Kinsler.
Well, you mentioned his 15th home run. All of them with the bases empty. I've never heard of such a thing.
That's why he has just 40 RBIs on the season. Presley pops one up left field. Gordon coming in. He'll call off Escobar. One away.
I mean, typically you see guys like D. Gordon, Jared Dyson, guys who are not home run hitters who have streaks without home runs with runners on base. His last home run with a man on base was last September.
Nicholas Castellanos 1 for 2, a double off the center field wall and flew out to the warning track in center field his last time up in a 3rd inning. You mentioned those other players. Look at the home run totals for the other players.
Exactly.
It's 11 compared to 15.
So you're not surprised. But Kinsler, that's a surprise to me all year. Without a home run with somebody on base.
I thought you were going to say that you were impressed with my quick math.
Okay, I was impressed with your quick math. It's called fishing for a compliment, Justin. So I will acquiesce.
Or just making fun of me because it was 5 plus 5 plus 1 plus 0.
It wasn't calculus, but you got it right.
No one outside. 2 balls and a strike here to Castellanos. Miguel Cabrera serving the 5th game of his 6-game suspension. The normal 3-hole hitter for the Tigers. Castellanos again to center. Coming in is CAIN. CAIN lays out and he can't hang on to it. Comes out of the glove, so it's a single for Castellanos.
Yeah, right at the end of the webbing. Just doesn't stay in. He thinks he's got it, and he does for just a fraction of a second.
I think his knee actually knocked it out. Right there when his knee hit his hand. So a 1-out single for Castellanos brings up Hicks. Swings and misses at the slider. Hicks singled his last time up, came around to score on that hard hit ball by James McCann, where Mike Moustakas was unable to make the play. Could have been a potential inning-ending double play.
He's from the same high school as Justin Verlander. His older brother played with Justin Verlander, Goochland High School in Virginia. Actually feels kind of weird to come to Detroit and not see Justin Verlander in that Tiger uniform.
Snap throw back to first. Castellanos is back in safely. Justin Verlander pitched last night, making his Astros debut against the Mariners. Still looks like Justin Verlander with the numbers.
Absolutely. And I've checked out all the metrics on his fastball. Velocity actually is the best it's been since 2011. Spin rate is up there. He's lost nothing.
Hicks off the end of the bat. Stays 1-2. I'm going to ask you this question with Verlander and now in Houston. One, I think it's a move the Astros had to make.
Agreed.
But two, who do you start game one of a playoff series now if you're Houston?
That question will be answered, I think, in these next 3 weeks, and depending on how Dallas Keuchel rounds into shape. If you played the game today, game one to me is Verlander. Keuchel's not all the way back yet.
Hicks caught at shortstop by Escobar, 2 away.
But his last start was typical Dallas Keuchel, where he had the ball at the knees and below, getting weak contact, throwing strikes. If he can repeat that, take that deeper into games, I'm still going to give him the ball game one. But if he's not back, boy, Justin Verlander, the way he's throwing the ball right now, given his experience, you can't go wrong.
Justin Kutcher, Tom Verducci up here in the booth, and again, it's a move that the Astros had to make because your window of opportunity is only so great. You've got such a good lineup to get a starter of Verlander's caliber, his track record, his experience. It's huge.
And how about Brad Ausmus telling us that he went to bed at 11:30 on the 31st, waiver trade deadline, at least to be on a roster to be eligible for postseason play, thinking the deal wasn't going to happen. Alex Avila, the GM, telling me the same thing, and he told Justin Verlander that. Doesn't look like anything is going to happen. And Al said that the Astros called it about 10:30, and it was back on at that point. But again, they still weren't that close on players or getting Justin to sign off on the deal literally minutes before the midnight deadline. That Justin agreed, the Tigers agreed.
2 balls, no strikes to Candelario. Takes the pitch up high, 3-0. And as far as Houston is concerned, getting Justin Verlander, making a run, this came all in the same week as Hurricane Harvey. Devastation in the city of Houston. And for those Astro fans in Houston, something to smile about, thinking we just got Justin Verlander.
No doubt about it. Having that team back on the weekend against the Mets, baseball back in Houston, just a small part based on just the devastation and the tragedy and sadness that city has gone through. But even a little bit of a diversion in your daily life helps a little bit, and something to look forward to now in terms of October.
You know what? I mean, it reminds me somewhat of what we saw earlier this game with the 9/11 first responders and what happened in New York City with the Mets and the Yankees post 9/11. Mike Piazza hitting the walk-off home run, or hitting the home run against the Braves. The place going crazy. The Yankees making that playoff run, losing to the Diamondbacks. But the whole city and country kind of rallied around those teams.
No doubt. Think about 20 and 13, Boston strong after the marathon bombing in that Red Sox team. There's nothing like baseball when it comes to binding a community. You know, we gather outside generally on a daily basis together.
No balls, 1 strike here to MAHTOOK. Struck out his last time up. Down low. 1-1. Hamill entering this game. Hitters batting .209 with runners in scoring position. That's 5th in the American League. Trying to buckle down here, now ahead in the count, 1-2.
That's that good riding 2-seamer in on the righties. You mentioned that batting average, runners in scoring position. That's a function of Hamill working off the weak part of the bats. In on the handle with the two-seamer, and off the end of the bat with the slider. Keep the ball off the barrel. Not so much a strikeout pitcher in these situations, but more weak contact.
One-two, goes up high, gets the strikeout with a fastball. But Ian Kinsler, breaking ball, says so long. It's tied up at 2 at the end of 5. Sponsored by Falcon Tires, the official tire of Major League Baseball. Yesterday, Little Caesars Arena, the ribbon-cutting ceremony. The new home of the Red Wings and the Pistons means that all 4 major sports teams are going to be downtown. First time that a U.S. city has had that. All here within walking distance. The district, Detroit. Pretty cool. This city has certainly been rebuilt and in the process of rebuilding the last decade or so. HOSMER, first pitch, ground ball to second. Kinsler, 1 away. You think about, Tom, we were talking about this before, but how much the city has changed. The first time I came here was in 2006 during that World Series run. And there was nowhere to really stay downtown. Now you come and you stay downtown. There are restaurants to choose from. You got all 4 major sports teams going to be here. It's pretty cool.
I'm amazed in a short period of time, not even since '06. I mean, even the last 4 or 5 years, almost each time I come back, there's another store, there's another business that opens downtown. It's vibrant.
1 ball, no strikes to Salvador Perez. Homered his first time up, lined out to right his last time. One-on-one.
I really like the job Boyd's doing tonight. You know, he talked to me yesterday about wanting to be more aggressive. You see the pace is excellent. The strike throwing has been terrific. I mean, he's a guy on the mound in control. And I talked to him about controlling pace of game, and he mentioned Cliff Lee. You know, Rich Doobie, the pitching coach here, had Cliff Lee in Philadelphia. A great guy to model yourself after. Premier strike thrower, but also worked very quickly.
Two balls, 2 strikes. The count here to Perez. 1 out in the 6th. Now 3 balls and 2 strikes.
I remember this is a guy 3 starts ago. His manager openly questioned. He has to learn how to pitch, or we're going to have to make a move with him. He has responded well.
Perez down to a knee on that swing.
Yeah, that was an uncomfortable swing. 3-2 breaking ball.
Too many grimaces.
Yeah.
For Ned Yost's liking as Perez strikes out for out number 2. Time for a game break. Let's go to LA and check in with Kevin Burkhardt. All right, thank you very much. You think about last night, what happened there in Toronto, a 19-inning victory for the Red Sox. Crazy how the shift in momentum in the American League East as Moustakas takes the first pitch outside. The Yankees were leading in the 9th inning against the Orioles. The Red Sox, extra innings. It could have been a game and a half. Instead, it's now 3.5 games.
Yeah, those 9th innings last night in Boston and Baltimore, absolutely huge. The Orioles coming back on the walk-off homer by Machado. And the Red Sox were down 2 runs in the 9th inning. Got the tie, and as you mentioned, took 19 to win it until after 1 o'clock in the morning. You better win those games.
Moustakas beats the shift, goes the other way, lines one. Moustakas is not moving well, though.
No, he's definitely compromised here. We talked about something in the lower half, scoring that run back in the 2nd inning. This is the pitch before the hit, the foul ball. Like that right leg, ankle area a little weak. So what do? Just take a nice short stroke. Look like a Federer backhand at the U.S. Open. Inside out.
2 outs for Jorge Bonifacio. 0 for 2, a line out and a pop out. First pitch fastball from Boyd is in there for a strike.
The way Moustakas is moving, I wouldn't bother holding him on at first base and play behind him. Bonifacio doesn't normally hit the ball the other way.
Gets into one of center field here. Jones going back, has some room and makes the catch net deep center field. Matthew Boyd has put together a good start. His team all tied up with Kansas City at 2. inspire all forms of baseball and softball participation, making play opportunities available and fun for everyone. To learn more, go to playball.org. A chilly night here in Detroit. Not a bad move to stand by the fire to watch this game. Bottom half of the sixth. James McCann, Jacoby Jones, Dixon Machado against Jason Hamill. I don't think, had you looked at the scouting reports and the numbers, you would have thought we'd be in a pitcher's duel here in the sixth inning.
Probably not. Both these pitchers really have not had success about the opponents they're facing tonight.
First pitch, line drive by McCann into left field. A leadoff single for James McCann here in the sixth. Well, this is a reason why you wouldn't have thought we'd be in a pitcher's duel, as Jason Hamill, career ERA against the Tigers, 6.70.
A couple of Royals starters there. Vargas roughed up last night by Detroit.
Action in the bullpen now. Number 47, Peter Moylan, warming up for Kansas City. Chopper. Escobar in the hole at short, gets the out at second. And that's the only one they'll get. Fielder's choice, 6-4.
But this, you talk about this pitcher's duel. It's a rare all Washington State pitcher's duel. Hamill actually went to high school in Washington State, born in South Carolina. One on the east side of Seattle and one on the west side. Hamill from the west side, Port Richard. Matthew Boyd went to school in Sammamish, Washington. Brendan Fraser, how about that? Didn't graduate, but he transferred. You know the great actor Brendan Fraser?
Of course.
How about the great movie The Scout?
The Scout.
Steve, Nebraska? I'm not sure that ranks as one of the great baseball movies, but entertaining.
Judd Heathcote, you saw his name on there for Jason Hamill's high school. Recently passed away. Former Michigan State basketball coach. No balls, one strike to Machado.
How about the most career wins by a Washington State-born pitcher? An active pitcher. And defending World Series champion.
Okay, hang on. Snap throw to first. And just getting back in safely is Jones. I'm going to say John Lester.
Very nice. I was going to say left-handed and initials JL to help bring you home there. Here's the snap throw. Right on the money.
The Royals taking a look at this one.
He's in there.
Todd Stottlemyre.
There's a time you would think Tim Lincecum would climb to the top of that list.
Lincecum pitched at the University of Washington. Runner takes off, and Machado fouls that one off himself, and he goes down.
Well, we've seen that a few times, huh, tonight?
It's just great movement on Hamill's pitches.
You know, one of the reasons why he changed his delivery, we talked about this at the top, rebuilding the engine, was to get the ball more consistently to his arm side.
That looked like it was either on the knee or just above it.
Just above it, that left knee. But Jason is a guy last year with the Cubs changed his delivery. He was a traditional three-part delivery guy where you start with your shoulders square to the plate, raise the ball over your head and go. He's been much more abbreviated this year.
Snap throw to first again. And again, Jones gets back in safely. You know, I was thinking there, would he go back in with that same pitch?
Pitchers are cruel, huh? We've seen him play that inside-out game all night. Fastballs in, sliders away. Very effective. Jason had a little Jake Arrieta in his windup last year. More crossfire delivery, and he's kind of smoothed that out. He did that back in May here after a disastrous start to the season.
Runner takes off, the throw down, not in time, or it's dropped by Merrifield. So it will be a strikeout of Machado, nearly a strikeout, throw him out, double play.
Yeah, that's Gold Glove material by Sal Perez in terms of the pitch and transfer. That's a breaking ball down. Good pitch to run on. He gets rid of this ball so quickly and on the money. That transfer is unbelievably quick. Talk about quick hands and feet. Normally you talk about middle infielders with quick hands and feet. Sal Perez.
Sal Perez able to laugh that one off. Nearly had that strike him out, throw him out, double play. Instead, runner in scoring position, Jacoby Jones for Ian Kinsler, who tied it up his last time. Taking that curveball deep to left field. This time starts him off with a slider. Quickly, Hamels ahead in the count, 0-2.
Yeah, obviously looking something different there. Good fastball to hit. Now you just go into battle mode. Cover the plate with 2 strikes.
Tried to go up high with a fastball. Six strikeouts on the night for Hamel. Inside. 2-2. On deck is Alex Presley, but 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs in a 2-2 ball game here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Did he go? The appeal to first base. He did not, says Doug Eddings. So 3 balls and 2 strikes now to Kinsler.
Yeah, it's very interesting at bat here because so far he's trying to get the 3rd strike to Kinsler out of the strike zone. And so far Kinsler has not been biting. The question now is, does he give in to Kinsler and throw a strike? I don't think he has to with the base open.
The base open and Presley on deck. 100th pitch of the game coming up here for Hamel. 3-2 is fouled back. We'll do it again.
They challenged him. That was a challenge fastball right there. You know, normally with Jones's speed at second, 2 outs, I'd say any single is an RBI, but Lorenzo Cain plays a shallow center field.
And Melky and Gordon both have good arms in the corners. Kinsler able to stay alive.
Great foul ball there because that was one of the best sliders Hamel's thrown all night. Tonight I'd say his strikeout pitch, his best strikeout pitch, has been that fastball up, and I'm wondering if he goes back there now.
He does not, and he walks Ian Kinsler. with 2 outs to put runners at first and second. That's the second walk of the night issued by Hamill to go along with those 6 strikeouts.
That's a professional at bat right there. That's a veteran at bat, knowing the situation with the base open. Hamill tried to get him out outside of the strike zone. One time he came in, Kinsler fouled it off.
Alex Presley, 1 for 3, a strikeout, a single, and a flyout. A base hit could give the Tigers the lead. A swing and a miss at the fastball. Foul ball down the left field line. That'll reach the seats. Again, Moustakas going over for that ball, but hobbling as he gives it a look.
Noticeably hobbling. Hamill attacking Presley here with 2 fastballs. Good situation here to climb the ladder.
Looking for strikeout number 7 and to get through 6 innings. He does climb the ladder, pops it up, foul. Perez over for a look, and that's into the seats as well. Do you try to bury a slider here?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's the right pitch he had right there. Presley did a nice job just kind of spoiling it. Seen 3 fastballs in a row. I don't want to show him a 4th. I can go back to it, but I need to get him off fastball here with breaking ball out of the zone.
Peter Moylan out there, looks like he's ready. And you wonder if this is the last batter of the game for Hamill. 105 pitches. Ground ball foul to first base.
He was trying to go upstairs again. And yeah, I agree with you, Justin. I think no matter the outcome here, it's his last batter. He has been taxed here in these last 2 plate appearances. Kinsler and now Presley trying to get strike 3.
And on top of that, with Castellanos on deck, he's been on him the entire night. You get the feeling Ned Yost doesn't want to tempt fate and face him for a 4th time.
Yeah, especially with the pitch count where it is at 106.
No balls, 2 strikes to Presley with runners on first and second, 2 outs in the 6th. And Presley deep to right field. If it's fair, it's gone. It is foul. Wow, did he get into one?
You know, it was interesting. Sal Perez actually sprinted out to the mound before this pitch to talk about it. That's why he didn't put a sign down. And they stayed with that fastball up. I think he has shown him velocity in sequence here too often that he needs to change up on that. Even if you want to go back to that pitch, you have to throw him something else in this sequence.
Matthew Boyd, Michael Fulmer trying to keep that one fair, but that fan now has a souvenir. Another 0-2. He goes off speed. This is a flare. Moustakas in foul territory, can't get there. And again, look at Moustakas.
You know, Justin, he was close enough to that ball on a bad leg that I gotta believe a healthy Moustakas catches this baseball, and they're in the dugout right now.
Presley thought he was done. That bat is now done.
Yeah, he can go back upstairs.
Doesn't. Good block by Perez. 1-2. Castellanos on deck. That was the 8th pitch of the at-bat. The first 6 were strikes.
Yeah, I was going to say it's also the 8th time now with 2 strikes. Hamill pitching to Kinsler and now Presley. That strike 3 has not been in the offing. You wonder, the deeper he goes into these situations, can he execute the pitch now at 110 pitches? 111 coming up.
Two up the middle. There's Merrifield, makes the play to first base, and Hamill gets out of it. He gets through 6. We're all tied up at 2 here in Detroit. Top of the 7th inning here at Comerica Park in Detroit. 2-2 ball game in the rubber game of this 3-game series. Alcides Escobar will lead things off against Matthew Boyd. Boyd pitching now into the 7th inning. Gave up 2 runs in the 2nd and nothing since. Fastball is high and outside. Ball 1 to Escobar. Warwick Saupold throwing in the bullpen now for the Tigers. Changeup misses. 2-0. Escobar had the RBI triple back in the 2nd to score Mike Moustakas and flew out to left in the 5th. Shoots one foul to right. 2-1.
You gotta like what Boyd's doing out there. 2-0 changeup right there. Well located. The triple by Escobar was one of the few fastballs we've seen him lead over the center of the plate.
Fouled back right below us. 2-2. Alex Gordon on deck. Again, the Royals enter tonight 3 games back of that second wild card spot in the American League. Escobar to right field. Going back is Presley. Presley will play this one off the wall. Escobar to second in with a leadoff double. So he's got a triple and a double in the ball game, and now the go-ahead run is at second with nobody out here in the 7th.
I think this ball surprised Presley how well it carried to the opposite field. Another one of the good bat ball hitters on this Kansas City team that pitched well out of the zone. Barrels it up. This is set up well now for Alex Gordon. Alex loves to hit the ball out in front of him. And that's what's in play right here. Get the ball to the right side. Fly ball or ground ball, get the runner over.
Grounded out to first base back in the 2nd. Lined out to short his last time up. Alex Wilson joins Southpole, warming up in the bullpen. The first pitch breaking ball is low and outside for ball 1. You wonder if this is the last batter here for Boyd, with the right-handers coming up in Merrifield and CAIN. A leadoff double by Escobar. And the breaking ball. McCann had to go off the glove, didn't get away from him. Escobar goes back to second, and now McCann will go out to speak with Boyd. 2 balls, no strikes, the count here to Alex Gordon. Such a well-pitched game for the Oregon State national champion from 2013, Matthew Boyd. Acquired back in 2015 in the trade with Toronto for David Price. And the jam here after a leadoff double by Escobar. And 2-0 to Gordon. Drops down a bit, 2-1.
Haven't seen that look before. Breaking ball from the lower arm slot. And perfectly located. As a left-handed hitter, looks like it's coming right at you, works away from you.
Three and one now the count. We just saw Jason Hamill work out of a jam in the bottom half of the 6th. And now a jam here for Matthew Boyd in the top of the 7th. Drops down again, 3-2.
That's a beautiful changeup. You know, with someone like Alex Gordon, who does like to catch the ball out in front of the plate, he is vulnerable to those off-speed pitches. Both of those last 2 well out in front.
Goes off speed. Gordon serves it to left field, and it's a fair ball. That will score Escobar as Gordon is in with an RBI double. How about that for some hitting by Alex Gordon?
Wow. Rare opposite field double. And again, he stayed soft. I like the approach by Boyd. This is like a slider cutter. And he is out in front. The top hand comes off the bat, but he stays on it long enough to just serve it out the other way. Good 2-strike hitting.
The night is done for Matthew Boyd. A pitching change here for the Tigers as Kansas City leads 3-2. as a cheerleader for the Tigers. 6+ innings, 7 hits, 3 runs, all earned, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. Responsible for Alex Gordon down there at second base. He pitched a really good game as he hands the ball off to Warwick Southpold. 36 games, a 3.81 ERA. 35 strikeouts, 24 walks. You see his arsenal. He'll face Whit Merrifield. Timeout called by James McCann. He asked for it, Laz Diaz granted it. Merrifield doubled his last timeout. 1 for 3 on the night. And the first pitch, fastball, is inside for ball 1.
Yeah, I thought Boyd threw the ball extremely well. A little bit unlucky there on that last pitch. Tip your cap to Alex Gordon. Had only 11 opposite field hits all year.
Merrifield shoots it the other way, and that's a foul ball. The Royals trying to add to their lead right now against Warwick Southpold. With a 4-game series against the Minnesota Twins coming up at home. This game is so important for Kansas City. He goes the other way again, drops in for a base hit. Coming around third to score is Gordon. Merrifield to second with his second straight double. And this time he gets an RBI.
Yeah, Southpold misses location here. He knows that Merrifield's going to try to shoot the ball the other way with Gordon at second. Target is in, the pitch is away, and that's right where Merrifield is looking to hit the baseball. And once again, you mentioned 2 doubles in a row, both times just sprinting out of the blocks. Thinking 2 all the way.
6 of the 8 hits for the Royals tonight have been for extra bases. And still nobody out here in the 7th for Lorenzo Cain. The fastball looks like he's just choking it a bit.
Yeah, he's just holding on to it a little bit too long. Doesn't have the release point yet. McCann going out there just to reinforce. Get the ball to the arm side. There you go, made the adjustment. Southpold's got a really good slider, but like Hamill, you need to own both sides of the plate, and that pitch can open up the outside for the slider.
One ball, 1 strike to Cain. Merrifield 2 for 4, an RBI, 2 doubles. Now 26 doubles on the season. And a look back to Merrifield. Pickoff play was on, and Merrifield back in easily.
Paying a lot of attention to Merrifield.
Lorenzo Cain shoots it the other way. Here comes Presley up throwing. Merrifield to the plate. He's in safely. RBI single for Lorenzo Cain.
We are looking at classic Royals baseball. offensively, just taking what they give you. Great job by CAIN right there. Just get the foot down early. And he's just trying to shoot the ball the other way as well. Keep the line moving.
Grip the Moment, sponsored by Falcon Tires, the official tire of Major League Baseball. MILKY CABRERA able to throw out Ian Kinsler at third base for the second out of the third inning. Tipped his cap to the Royal fans here in attendance. And now a visit by the pitching coach Rich Doobie out to speak to Warwick Saupold.
Well, that's a good talking to right there. As Diaz breaking it up.
Joe Jimenez and Jairo Laborte warming up in the bullpen. Laborte the lefty. And this is where September call-ups change the dynamics of baseball. Relief pitchers.
Got 25 of them available in this game.
Is that it?
That's it. 25 relief pitchers. Hopefully they can get by.
Cabrera looking for his first hit of the night, 0 for 3. And Saupold has just had trouble finding the strike zone or locating his target.
Yeah, part of the reason Doobie was out there was to buy time to get Laborte ready for Hosmer on deck. A pickoff as well, called to first base from the dugout. Killing time to get another relief pitcher ready.
When speaking with Brad Ausmus before the game, he talked about it's the pitching staff right now that's really, really young. And here in September, he'll get a look at some of these younger guys, what they have to offer, who maybe catches his eye for next year, or at least has a leg up entering spring training next year.
See Las Diaz behind the plate doing everything he can to try to move the game along. Tigers in slowdown mode.
Melky to right field. That will get down for a base hit. CAIN being held up at third base. A double for Cabrera. Still nobody out in the inning. And that is the fourth double of the inning.
That looked like a changeup that just hung up in the center of the plate.
Brad Ausmus is out to make a pitching change. Saupold could not get anybody out in his stints. 5-2 KC. Day, honoring the life of the legend Roberto Clemente.
Roberto Clemente,
15-time All-Star, 12-time Gold Glove winner, right fielder for the Pittsburgh Pirates, finished his career with exactly 3,000 hits. One of the most exciting players to watch in his day and maybe of all time. And when people talk about great arms in right field, Tom, there weren't many better than his.
No, you start with the great Roberto Clemente. As great of a player as he was, remembered for being just even a better person, humanitarian. I think that's one of the great individual awards that you can win in this game. So congratulations to all nominated for this year's Clemente Award.
Jairo Laborde is in 45 games in the minors this year, 2.17 ERA. But you see that note, he's pitched in all three levels, single A, double A, and triple A, and now here in the major leagues. The 20th ranked prospect in the Tigers organization, also acquired in that trade for David Price from Toronto in 2015. Hosmer fouls it off. The Roberto Clemente Award recognizes the player who best represents the game of baseball through sportsmanship, community involvement, and positive contributions both on and off the field. Drew Butera and Miguel Cabrera, the nominees for the Royals and Tigers respectively this year. Last year's winner, somebody that Tigers fans certainly familiar with, Curtis Granderson. But the infield in, a swing and a miss, 1-2.
He stayed with all sliders in this at bat here. And watching him, he's got a good fastball. Watching him warm up, everything was on the arm side, and that's where you want to pitch Hosmer in with the fastballs. In. Fastball away, he absolutely hammers.
One-two gets by McCann. Coming in from third is CAIN to score. Moving up to third is Melky Cabrera.
Well, you mentioned these young pitchers. It's not just the hitters trying to figure them out, it's the catchers. Fastball down, just gets underneath the glove of McCann.
It'll be a wild pitch. We entered this game in a 2-2 tie. And now Hosmer chases that pitch from Laborde for the first out of the inning. Four runs in the inning so far for Kansas City.
Now they'll intentionally walk Perez. They have the lefty go after the lefty Moustakas. Been an interesting night for the Moose.
Really has been. Moustakas playing through some pain that he has suffered in this game. He's reached base all three times. A couple of singles and a walk.
He's got to stay with the slider here.
This is the night for Mike Moustakas on the triple by Escobar, hobbling around third base. Comes in a dugout. I'm okay. Sixth inning. How does that feel? He is our Gatorade. Every ounce counts. You can see him hobbling and then going after a foul pop-up. Just can't get there, and again comes up gingerly. No time to rest, though. No time to get healthy. Now when the Twins are coming to town for 4 games. Back out in front of the plate. Laborde goes to second for one, over to first in time. And that again is because Moustakas is hobbling. Laborde could have gone home for an out for a tag play. Instead, he went to second, and they get a 1-6-3 double play. But 4 runs in the inning and the Royals now lead 6-2. It looks like this. Salvador Perez got the scoring started in the second with a solo home run. Ian Kinsler tied it in the fifth with a solo shot of his own. We were all tied up at 2 entering the seventh, and then 5 consecutive hits by the Royals. They put 4 on the board in the inning, and they take a 6-2 lead into the bottom half of the seventh. Peter Moylan is in for his 67th appearance, a 3.93 ERA. 39 strikeouts, 22 walks, opponents hitting just 193 against him. And he'll face Nicholas Castellanos leading off in the seventh.
It set up well for him with the 2 right-handers, followed by the switch hitter Candelario.
A new third baseman is in. Ramon Torres takes over for Mike Moustakas. He showed you Moustakas' night, hobbling around the field. And then Tom on that last play trying to bust it out of the box to beat out the double play.
That was the absolute worst case scenario for Kansas City, where he did have to force it.
Moylan's first pitch misses outside for ball 1. Castellanos 2 for 3, a double, a single, and a fly out to center. One ball and 1 strike. Give a lot of credit to Jason Hamill, who battled in that 6th inning. And now he's the pitcher of record. He's in line to pick up the victory if the Royals hang on. But remember, Hamill walked Kinsler and was in that feisty at bat against Alex Presley with a pitch count going up towards about 110 pitches. Got out of the inning to keep it a tie game. 2-2 the count to Castellanos.
That was an impressive piece of pitching. As you mentioned, that pitch count elevated at the time for Hamill and still able to execute his pitches.
Everybody except Jacoby Jones with a hit in the lineup for the Tigers tonight.
You mentioned the 5 consecutive hits for Kansas City in that rally, the first 4 of them to the opposite field. That is Royals baseball. I know they have more power this year. They've tied a team record for home runs set in 1987. But when they're at their best, they put those hits together.
Castellanos pulls it foul. Third base coach Dave Clark has to get out of the way.
He's going to have to buy a ticket for stands he gets any farther out there. Castellanos is laughing himself. I'm not trying to hit you. Back up a little more. Keep going.
Two and two to Castellanos, leading off here in the 7th. And that's off the knob of the bat and catches Salvador Perez.
I wonder how many of those in the course of a season, if someone kept track of that, how many times Sal Perez got hit by a pitch in the dirt.
Oh, I guarantee you somebody tracks it. People track everything these days.
That's got to be a high number, especially for him. He plays so often and he's so big. Big target.
Castellanos down the left field line. Foul. The ball boy making a good effort.
Pretty tough when you have to grab the stool and make a play. Check this out.
It's tough. You're trying to find the wall while still holding onto the stool.
Yeah.
Rolls one over to third base. First chance for Torres on the run. Throws a strike to Eric Hosmer for the first out. Saturday UFC 215 prelims are on FS1. 2 women, 2 warriors. The hardened Olympian Sarah McMahon faces rising star Ketlin Vieira. It's a battle you won't want to miss. UFC 215 prelims Saturday 8 Eastern on FS1. And then I'm pretty sure that Matthew Boyd will be tuning in to catch his Oregon State Beavers against the Minnesota Gophers on FS1. Chopper to shortstop. Escobar 2 away as Hicks is retired.
Do you have some interest in that game? The football game?
Depends what you mean by interest, but yeah, I'll be there in Corvallis with Petros Papadakis and Mark Helfrich, the former Oregon coach, broadcasting an Oregon State game. How about that?
Very good. So hopefully you broke down the game with Matthew Boyd yesterday, because I'm sure you've boned up on the game. You know the teams inside and out.
Hey, we were talking with PJ Fleck today, the new coach for Minnesota, all set up for this game. Candelario takes the first pitch down low for ball 1. Two balls and no strikes to the switch hitting third baseman. Candelario singled back in the 4th, walked in the 5th.
Tigers really like a lot of parts of his game, and I am partial to players who grow up, their fathers are former players or instructors, and his dad opened a training academy in the Dominican Republic. So you grow up around the game, not just learning the game, but understanding the whys of the game. No better examples to me than Cal and Billy Ripken, growing up around their dads, know the game as well as anybody. Always thought that's been an advantage. If I were out scouting, that was one box I'd love to check. Zach Cozart, another guy with the Reds, grew up, his father was a coach.
A 2-out walk to Candelario and Mikey MAHTOOK at the plate. Singled and has struck out his last 2 times.
He didn't like that call. Looked like it was just below the knees, but Las Diaz said nope. Caught the bottom of the zone. And now Moyle can go attack with the slider.
Comes back with a fastball, 0-2. There's a slider. Missing. 1 ball and 2 strikes. This Royals team led 2-0. The Tigers fought back 2-2. And thanks to 4 runs in the top of the 7th inning, the Royals now lead 6-2. Trying to get back to 500, 69-69. Right back to Moylan. Easy throw to first, and that'll do it here in the 7th. We go to the 8th in Detroit. KC leading by 4. On FS1 is sponsored by The Hartford. When the unexpected strikes, The Hartford strikes back with small business insurance. Back here in Detroit. The Tiger. Charlie Gehringer. These statues are awesome. Ty Cobb. Are the spikes up there?
They're sharp, we know that.
Willie Horton, look at that finish. A new pitcher into the game here for the Tigers as Mr. Tiger.
Oh, yeah.
Gets to take a look.
Number 6.
Al Kaline. Joe Jimenez on to face Jorge Bonifacio. And the first pitch, Bonifacio to left. MAHTOOK has to plate on a bounce. A leadoff single for Jorge Bonifacio. The numbers on Jimenez. A 1.85 whip in 16 games.
He's got a live arm like a lot of relief pitchers in the game today. Power fastball, power slider. And he's working on the facial hair to match.
He's only 22. Give him some time.
Yeah, I'm giving him time. By the way, that number 6, it's been retired 7 times by teams in Major League Baseball.
Runner takes off, a little hit and run. Escobar.
Oh, a thing of beauty.
Bonifacio to third, runners on the corners. You mentioned before Royals baseball. Here the Royals again executing like they did in 2014 and 2015 as they went to back-to-back World Series.
First pitch, hit and run. We know Escobar loves to swing at first pitch anyway. Just put it in play, right? So as mentioning, number 6 has been retired 7 times. All players the number has been retired for have no more than 6 letters in their name. Think about that.
How much time do you spend?
Get back to me next week.
How about the number 7? How many letters in that one?
There must be an algorithm for that.
Gordon had the big RBI double his last time up, when he just went with a pitch. The infield is in with runners on the corners, nobody out. Yeah, fastball's in there.
That's probably the biggest at bat of the game. We talked about how well Matt Boyd had pitched in this game. Gordon just won the at bat, so he can get change up the other way.
Now check on Escobar at first base. No word yet on the injury, on the update for Mike Moustakas. Inside and low, 1-1. Mike Moustakas left the game. You wonder if Moustakas, if the game were still tied, if he'd still be in there. Now with a 4-run lead, made that final out and that 1-6-3 double play. If that's the reason why Ned Yost was like, you know what, we got the 4-run lead, let's now take him out. Gordon able to check his swing. For those of you looking for the Ultimate Fighter, we want to tell you it is starting now on FS2. A full FS1 airing of the Ultimate Fighter will also take place at the end of our game. We are in the top of the 8th inning. Justin Kutcher alongside Tom Verducci from Comerica Park in Detroit. The Royals lead the Tigers 6-2 in the rubber game of this 3-game series. The Royals enter tonight 3 games back of the second wild card spot in the American League. They took the first game of the series 7-6. Last night, the Tigers won 13-2 thanks to 6 home runs. And tonight it's 6-2 Royals. Outside, 3 balls and 1 strike to Gordon. And an update on some scoring. That wild pitch that allowed LORENZO CAIN to score has been changed from a wild pitch to a pass ball.
Okay, that was the fastball that kind of handcuffed McCann.
(3-1). Gordon swings. It's 3-2.
Well, I would say second wild card is going to take a minimum 84 wins. Probably 86. I'll say minimum 84. The Royals would have to go 16-9. That sounds doable, but it doesn't give you a lot of room for error, especially with 5 teams ahead of you.
Mike Minor warming up in the bullpen for the Royals.
Check out this traffic jam. Kansas City really just 2 games back in the all-important loss column.
The Angels making a run. Mike Trout missed all that time. He's come back, picked up right where he left off. They go out and they acquire Justin Upton from these Tigers. Trying to get Mike Trout back to the playoffs for the 2nd time in his career. Fouled away. We'll do it again at 3-2. The one player you would expect to have a hit is the only one who doesn't have a hit for the Royals, Eric Hosmer. 3 balls and 2 strikes here to Gordon. Nobody out, top of the 8th. And we'll do it again, and that means Escobar has to make his way back to first base. Minor and Kevin McCarthy up now in the pen for Kansas City. In the air to right field, coming in Presley. Escobar gets back to first. A bluff as a throw comes home and cut off by John Hicks. The most popular way to follow the postseason push is with MLB.com At Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. Enjoy game day, live game video highlights, radio broadcasts, StatCast news, and more. Download MLB.com At Bat today. One away for Whit Merrifield. RBI double his last time up. He's had doubles his last 2 times at the plate. Also a strikeout and a ground out. And now a double play could end the inning for Joe Jimenez.
He's a tough guy to double up. He runs so well.
James McCann keeps on coming out, and now he wants his first baseman, John Hicks, to come over to this meeting. The update on Mike Moustakas is it's right lateral knee irritation, and he is day to day. Sliders down low.
Merrifield gets such a good approach at the plate. He's so quick to the ball. He can let the ball travel, handles velocity well by hitting it the other way.
Tap foul. Nice play by Laz Diaz.
He gets a hand. Not often you hear the umpires cheered, but this will get you a round of applause. I got it.
Merrifield to right center again. This time it's trouble off the base of the wall. 1 run scores. 2 runs will score. It's now an 8-2 Royal lead and the 3rd straight double for Whit Merrifield.
Well, that's exactly the kind of approach I'm talking about with him. Letting the ball get deep so the fastball, he's going to hit it well the other way. On balance, very economical with his movements. Not a lot of moving parts on that swing. That is one impressive player. He can fill up a stat sheet, can he? Doubles, RBIs, runs scored, stolen bases, home runs this year.
He now has 27 doubles, 3 tonight. He's got 27 stolen bases, has been caught just 3 times. He can play second for you. He can play the outfield for you. And now
17 home runs.
Paulo Orlando pinch hitting for Lorenzo Cain. And he went around, says Doug Eddings. So now with a 6-run lead in the 8th inning, you've got 4 games coming up against Minnesota, 3 against the White Sox at home. Then you have to go to Cleveland for 4 games. Ned Yost trying to rest some of his players when he can. Orlando, an RBI single as Merrifield comes in to score. And it's now 9-2 Royals. A pinch hit RBI single by Paulo Orlando. Rich Duby will come out to speak with Joe Jimenez. While we have a moment here, let's go back to LA and check in with Kevin Burkhardt for a game break. All right, thank you very much. Of course, Alex Avila, former Tiger, dealt with Justin Wilson. Over to the Cubs. A look at the NL Central standings. And as you kind of look forward to the postseason, in the National League, the Dodgers had been on fire. For so much of the year, they finally hit a road bump, a speed bump. Is there a legitimate threat to the Dodgers in the National League?
Well, I think after the way Steven Strasburg pitched in Miami, I'd say yes. You give me that Nationals rotation healthy and on point, they can shut down anybody and win a game on starting pitching. This doesn't happen much in today's game.
Melky Cabrera fouls it off. 1-1.
Remember last year they took the Dodgers to a game 5 without a healthy Strasburg and without a healthy Wilson Ramos.
Zach Reininger
healthy.
warming up now in the bullpen for Detroit. Cabrera serves one to left field. Again, just going with the pitch. We talked about how hot the Cubs were, how hot the Dodgers were. How about the Indians and the D-backs? Win streaks of 13 and 12 respectively. Look at the batting average and the ERA for the Indians during this run.
It's amazing. Jose Ramirez on fire. And the Diamondbacks are one team that certainly don't scare when they see the LA Dodgers on the other side of the field. They've handled them well.
Another pitching change here in Detroit. Joe Jimenez night is done as Kansas City leads by 7. Kansas City leading the Tigers. Sparky Anderson, he'd be going to the bullpen a couple times.
Captain Hook, even expanded rosters in September.
Zach Reininger, the next pitcher for the Tigers. He also pitched in all 3 levels of the minors this year. Now gets the call up to the big leagues and gets to face Eric Hosmer here. And Hosmer, now he's got his first hit of the night. And the route is on as they're going to wave MELKY CABRERA around all the way from first base. A 2-run double for Hosmer. That is the 200th double of Eric Hosmer's career, and it's a 2-run double to make it 11-2.
That was loud. You talk about squaring up a pitch. He's a great high fastball hitter. Take a listen. My goodness. I think it woke up some people around the neighborhood. You know, he's such a good high fastball hitter because his stroke is so flat. You see so many hitters today with that launch angle swing. This is one of them right here in Sal Perez. But Hosmer has kept the same stroke. Hasn't joined the launch revolution in hitting.
Perez to right field. Presley is back, looks up, that's gone. Second home run of the night for Salvador Perez. The extra base hits just keep on coming here for the Royals.
I mentioned launch angle 2 years ago, last year actually, he joined the revolution. There he was in 2015 when he hit way too many ground balls. Open stance, watch the angle of the swing here. It's just straight down to the ball on the left, and the bat's wrapped around his head. Now this year, he's starting last year, more on his backside with much more loft in his swing. Take a look right here. We've seen it twice tonight. The higher finish, watch him stay on the backside. Before he used to jump out at the baseball and hit ground balls just like that one.
Ramon Torres grounds out to second. A cheer by the fans here at Comerica Park. Torres was the 9th batter of the inning. So 2 away as Kansas City has batted around here in the 8th.
That guy has really changed his hitting profile.
Bonifacio down the right field line, foul and out of play.
Well, Royals are having some fun at the expense of this young Detroit bullpen. It's hard to remember this was a 2-2 game, and he was clean shaven when we started the 7th inning.
Life is like a box of chocolates. Broken back, ground ball to third base. Candelario. That will do it in the 8th. But runs galore. The beard's still growing. 13-2 Royals. is on Nintendo Switch. RBI Baseball 2017 is filled with fast-paced, pick-up-and-play MLB action packed with all your favorite MLB teams, players, ballparks, and much more. Get RBI Baseball today for Nintendo Switch. Learn more today at rbigame.com. Kevin McCarthy, the new pitcher, into the game for Kansas City. 25 games, a 2.78 ERA. 16 strikeouts, 9 walks. And he'll face James McCann leading off here in the 8th. Now a comfortable lead for Kansas City as they have scored 9 runs in the last 2 innings. Fouled back, not a play.
Bearded, by the way, Mr. McCarthy. Full-fledged member of the relief corps.
Excuse me, I beg your pardon. It's 11 runs in the last 2 innings.
It's easy to lose count.
Couple of defensive changes as well here. Paolo Orlando takes over in center field. Jorge Soler has come into right. Brandon Moss is at first, and Drew Butera is behind the plate. So this is, as weird as it sounds, in September, with all the call-ups and whatnot, in a blowout game, strike 3 called against James McCann, it feels almost like spring training as the dogs are here to watch. Bark in the park tonight. But in all seriousness, because in September you've got so many call-ups, you have the flexibility with your bench to take some of your starters out and put guys in, or like an all-star game.
Yeah, I think that's the absolute best case scenario for Ned Yost, going into a 4-game series with Minnesota. Get your starters off the field. Travel day. He's ready to go home, that guy. He's a Tigers fan. He's seen enough.
Seen enough.
He loves his team, but 13-2 is 13-2.
Oh boy, past his bedtime. He's looking up, just one eye open. Is this over yet? You can't even see his eyes.
I don't know that my dog would still be sitting there just relaxed and chilled after watching a game for 3 hours. These are well-behaved dogs. Been here a long time.
Back-to-back strikeouts for Kevin McCarthy to open up the 8th inning.
He's coming in and hit his spots here. Perfect location.
Machado back up the middle for a base hit. Second hit of the night for Dixon Machado. And now a pinch hitter for the Tigers. It'll be Andrew Romine. No balls and 1 strike to Andrew Romine. Watch out. That's when you're happy it's 13-2
and there's some
and
empty
fans
seats.
have left.
Yeah.
That could have been a trip to the hospital for somebody. Romine to left center fields. Over is Gordon, there to make the catch and end the 8th. We go to the 9th here in Detroit. 13-2 Royals. First, weekday mornings on FS1 with host Chris Carter and Nick Wright as they kick off the day with the latest in sports. First things first, weekdays at 6:30 a.m. Eastern on FS1. See, Tom, now you've got something to watch when you get up every morning.
That's right. Sports show in the morning. Start your day with coffee and FS1.
Shane Green into pitch now, a 2.72 ERA. He's the veteran now in that bullpen for the Tigers. Brad Osmus said, we need to get him into a game. He's in.
Hoping it was a save situation. We're on cycle watch right here. See, Andrew Romine stays in the game, second base.
Alcides Escobar needs a home run.
Oh, this is where you have to come out of your spikes swinging, right?
Absolutely.
It's 13-2. Been a long time since George did it. He did go deep the other day, Escobar. Number 4 on the season.
He won't get a home run, but he will get a base hit. His 4th of the night. And a pinch hitter is coming up. Terrence Gore is going to be the pinch hitter now for Alex Gordon. And a pinch runner as well, as Escobar's night and bid for the cycle is done. Raul Mondesi comes in to run for him. Ground ball, second base, Romine goes to short for one, over to first, not in time. Gore able to beat it out. Terrence Gore is playing in his 40th career game, and that was just his 8th career at bat. He is the essential pinch runner.
He is the essential expanded roster guy.
First pitch to Whit Merrifield is taken down low. Merrifield has 3 doubles on the night.
Triple double. Might as well swing for a 4th. All 3 doubles hit to the right of second base.
Pulls this one. Foul. And that just took a bad hop off the grass for that ball boy down there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he was in position. Nothing you could do about that.
Hit the lip.
It did.
The grass
the cutout.
The cutout, yeah.
You can't anticipate that. I mean, a dive would have been nice.
You can't even work on that, really, when you're out there practicing.
Pop up. Romine. 2 away. Ten extra base hits tonight. 7 of them doubles. A couple of home runs by Salvador Perez and a triple by Escobar. The most since 2011. Paulo Orlando had an RBI single in the 8th inning. That 7-run 8th.
Sal's still having fun down there.
What's crazy is that this was a pitcher's duel through 6 innings. It was 2-2 entering the 7th.
Matthew Boyd, Jason Hamill both threw the ball very well. And once the Royals got into that young Detroit bullpen, game over.
$11 runs in the 7th and 8th inning combined for the Royals. 18 hits on the night. 10 of them for extra bases.
Well, they're going to need this offense here in these last 25 games or so. You know, the starting pitching, you know, with the exception of Hamill, who's been pretty consistent, giving them 6 innings start to start. It has not been very good for the last 6 weeks. Good news today, Danny Duffy got back on a mound for the first time since going on the DL.
Joakim Soria also threw off the mound today. One hopper to short. Machado retires Orlando. We'll go to the bottom of the 9th. It would be an epic comeback for the Tigers as they trail by a lot. Bottom of the 9th inning, Alex Presley will face Kevin McCarthy. First pitch, center field, on the run, Orlando. Paolo Orlando got a great jump. One away. New left fielder into the game for Kansas City is Terrence Gore. And at shortstop, Raul Mondesi. Pinch hitter here, Efren Navarro. And Navarro's behind in the count, 0-2.
Well, Justin, I would say that the second wild card system really has worked out for the better of baseball. I know there's some critics out there who say, you know, it brings too many average teams into play. The strikeout right there. The Royals trying to get, and will get tonight, back to 500, and they're right in the thick of the race. But the fact is, we have a lot of teams playing meaningful games in September. Hopefully it stays this close to the last weekend.
Brian Holiday will pinch hit. Holiday pinch hitting for Hicks. One ball and one strike. Well, Jason Hamill will get the victory to move to 8-10. Matthew Boyd will suffer the loss, falling to 5-9. Boyd pitched better than his numbers will show in this game, as he was charged with 4 runs in 6+ innings. This was a 2-2 game going into the 7th inning, thanks to Hamill able to work out of a jam on the bottom of the 6th. A 1-2 ground ball back to the pitcher. McCarthy flips it to Moss, and this one is over. Salvador Perez, a couple of home runs. Whit Merrifield with 3 doubles. And Ned Yost and the Royals are back to 500 at 69-69, thanks to a 13-2 win.
And now they can go in to face the Minnesota Twins with a lot of confidence throughout the lineup.
Well, they have a 4-game series coming up against the Twins. It all starts tomorrow at Kauffman Stadium for these Royals. For Tom Verducci, I'm Justin Kutcher saying so long from Kansas City. We now send you to The Ultimate Fighter, airing in its entirety here on FS1.